Hello, this is Andrew here. I'm the director at Consult Myanmar Company Limited. Today, we're going to talk about Myanmar Investment Opportunities, what you need to know. This is part 1 of an investment series on Myanmar. In part 1, we discuss about investment opportunities in Myanmar, and in part 2, we will talk about Myanmar Company Incorporation. So let's start with part 1. What are the key legal framework that you must know before you make any investment decision in Myanmar? There are basically 3 legislation that you must know: the State-Owned Enterprises Law, the Foreign Investment Law, and the Myanmar Companies Act. In part 1, we will only cover the State-Owned Economic Enterprises Law and the Restricted Industry. The Foreign Investment Law and the Myanmar Companies Act we will cover in part 2 of this video series when we talk about company incorporation. For your information, restricted industry is not a legislation. It is a set of guidelines and clarification that are issued by the government. The clarification expand upon some of the gray areas in the FIL. The restricted industry lists out sectors that the Myanmar people need help in due to lack of technology, management know-how, or capital. It tells you where the gaps are in the market and where the government wants foreign investment to come in and to make a positive impact, subject to meeting certain conditions. There are 12 industries or sectors that are reserved for the state-owned economic enterprises. That is, only the government can exploit these sectors. We call these 12 industries the reserved sectors. They are in industries such as extraction and sales of teak wood, oil and gas, precious stone, postal and telecom services, and so on and so forth. Please read this at your own leisure. Now, just because these 12 sectors are reserved for the state does not mean that foreign investors cannot invest in these sectors. In the oil and gas sector, it is a standard practice for the Ministry of Energy to invite companies to JV with the state via production sharing contract. This is normally done through an open tender. In the telecom sector, for example, the Ministry of Post and Telecom will issue 2 telco licenses to 2 foreign investment groups in the end of June 2013. This is part of the government efforts to upgrade the telecommunication network in Myanmar and to increase mobile phone penetration from 7% to 50% in 3 years. Take note that in the reserve sector, you need to be among the top 10 players in your industry before you can have a chance to be pre-qualified to be a bidder for a license. The investment involved in the reserve sector can start from US 100 million to a few $billion. So to be successful in the reserve sector, you need to be a major player in your industry, have a good track record, and have a very deep pocket. In the reserve sector, if you want to invest in it, you can either approach the government to propose a joint venture, or most likely you can bid for a license via an open tender when the government wants to bring in foreign expertise and capital. Restricted industry is where you'll find many opportunities that require investment in the range of 2 to 10 million US dollar. The capital required is reasonably sized as opposed to the reserve sector. Restricted industry is an area that the Myanmar government has studied hard and carefully and has indicated that they need help from foreign investors. As the segment that they're looking to develop, the local Myanmar people may not have the technology, management know-how, or capital to fully exploit them and to bring the industry to an international level. So the Myanmar government is saying that there's a gap in the market and foreigners could exploit these gaps under certain conditions. That is why I say that the restricted industry is a goldmine. Before we talk about what industry foreign investor can invest in, let's talk about industry that foreign investor cannot invest in. Any industry that degrades the water resources of Myanmar, pollutes the environment, or can affect the culture of the Myanmar people in an adverse way will not be permitted. As usual, there are exceptions. If, for example, the relevant ministry felt that it is in the best interest of the Myanmar people to open up that sector to foreign capital, technology, and competition, it will call for an open tender, and all foreign investors with the right qualifications can participate by bidding for a license. Altogether, there are 21 economic activities that are listed in the prohibition list. If you want to know more, please do contact me. This list stipulates the industry that foreign investors can participate only if they joint venture with a local Myanmar citizen. There are a lot of goodies in this list, but in order to invest in it, you need to partner a local citizen. I'm going to jump to the next slide and show some snapshot of the opportunities in this list. So if you want to manufacture and market consumer food products such as biscuit, waffle, chocolate, canned food, and alcoholic beverages, you need to joint venture with a local citizen. If you want to open an international resort golf course, you need to partner a local. You want to open a real estate business and get involved in sales, lease, or rental of residential or commercial property, you need to partner a local. Do take note that under the foreign investment law, foreign investor must own at least 35% of the total share capital in the joint venture. Unless otherwise stated, foreign investor can own up to 80% of total share capital in a restricted industry. That is, you will be the controlling shareholder. This is very significant because many of the opportunities in this list you can get by with an investment of between 2 to 10 million US. This is an amount that many investors can afford. Most important, you will be the majority shareholder. At the same time, it is also an opportunity for the small and medium enterprises in Myanmar that have the experience to participate in the JV and learn from the foreign investor. Do take note that what I'm showing you is just a selection of the more interesting opportunities on the list. There's a total of 42 business opportunities listed in this list. If you want to know more, please do contact me. This is the list of activities that are permitted only with the recommendation of the relevant ministry. Under the auspices of the Ministry of Industry, one opportunity that you can look at is the manufacture of cigarette. At least 90% of the production must be exported, and at least 45% of the tobacco must be sourced locally in Myanmar. Not many people is aware that Myanmar has rare earth deposits like xenotine, monazite, columbite, and tantalite. Rare earths are vital for the manufacture of smartphones and hybrid car. Currently, China controls 95% of the rare earth trade in the world. There are opportunities here for mining companies who are familiar with the rare earth market to propose to the Myanmar government some sort of JV arrangement. Under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, if you want to open a wellness spa, you can do so in a 3-star hotel and above. But much more interesting is the casino business targeted only at foreigners. To operate a casino, first you must find a restricted area of the country whereby it is easy for the international tourists to access the casino, and yet it is not easy for Myanmar people to access. You must first get approval from the Ministry of Tourism and then the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now let's look at a map of Myanmar and see where you can find such a place. Now this is the map of southern Myanmar. The lighter shade is Myanmar, the darker shade is Thailand. This is Yangon, this is Bangkok, and towards the south, just off this map, is Phuket, and this is the Mergui Archipelago. This is a group of 800 mostly uninhabited islands. There are around 2,000 sea gypsies that live on some of the island. Most of them are fishermen. You will find pristine island with crystal clear water there. Excellent reef can be found around the island. Phuket in the south is like 200 kilometers away, and Bangkok is 400 kilometers away in the northeast. So what is life like on this remote tropical island? Now I'm going to quickly run through a few snapshots to give you a flavor of what life is like on these islands. On land, this is what you will find. On water, this is what you will find. In the water, there are rich marine life around the island. The Mergui Archipelago is remote and mostly unpopulated, save for some fishermen. You will have no problem controlling access of Myanmar people going to the island. So it will be easy for you to convince the Ministry of Home Affairs to allow you to open a casino resort on it. The Mergui Archipelago is like what Phuket was 50 years ago, before it became the vacation island of choice for many Western tourists. If Thailand can receive 22 million tourists in year 2012, is it possible to attract just 500,000 tourists to a group of islands in the Mergui Archipelago? A high-speed ferry from Phuket could reach Mergui in 3 hours, and a flight from Bangkok take less than an hour. Of course, to exploit this island casino resort opportunity, you need to have very significant capital and also experience in running a casino. Take note that altogether there are 115 opportunities listed in this list requiring recommendation from the various ministry. If you want to know more, please do contact me. This list stipulates activities that are permitted if foreign investor meets certain conditions that have already been set by the relevant ministry. That means that if you meet these conditions, you do not have to go through a lengthy process of submitting proposal to the relevant ministry without knowing what the outcome will be. You can read this list at your own leisure. I'm going to jump to the next slide and show some snapshot of the opportunity listed here. If you want to set up a 100% foreign-owned hotel, you can do so if you invest in a 3-star hotel and above. If you own the master franchise for Asia for Subway Sandwich, you can open a branch in Myanmar and be a franchisor there. Take note that foreigner can only be the franchisor, they cannot be the franchisee. Only Myanmar people can be the franchisee. If you want to open chain store to sell, for example, European fine food such as wine, sausage or cheese, the store must be 2,000 to 4,000 square feet in size, and you need to submit a plan as to how many stores you intend to open within the terms of the company license. If you want to invest in a retail store, take note that it must be a joint venture with a local citizen, with the local holding at least 40% share. You can only invest in big retail format like supermarket, department store or hypermarket. Investment in retail property development in Myanmar is something you should seriously look at if you have the experience in this area, as the retail market is underdeveloped in Myanmar. Take for example the supermarket scene in Myanmar. It is very fragmented and underdeveloped. Most supermarket chains are small, like 2 to 3 outlets, and are family owned that are focused mainly in Yangon. Store design and merchandising are very traditional. Emphasis is on selling low-price daily necessity. And there's only one strong player, and that is City Mart. City Mart has over 48 outlets in Yangon. City Mart runs its own drugstore and bakery cafe next to its supermarket. It is good by Myanmar standard, but by Western standard it's just an average supermarket that you would expect in your neighborhood. There's opportunity to open more Western-style supermarket, not just in Yangon, but in major cities outside Yangon. There's also opportunities for foreign investors to open hypermarket with big parking facilities in the suburb of Yangon or Mandalay, selling an assortment of international branded consumer goods and services. As most of the middle upper class Myanmar families send their children to private school and then to Singapore, Australia or UK for their education, they are used to shopping from Carrefour and Walmart of the world. Now altogether there are 27 opportunities in this list requiring the investor to meet certain conditions. If you want to know more, please do contact me. Now that we have seen the reserve sector and we have also seen what are the restricted industry that foreign investor can invest in, it is important that we realize that for the average investor with a budget of $2 to $10 million US, the restricted industry is probably the best area to focus on, as the capital required is more affordable, the market entry requirements are simpler as it is clearly spelled out by the government, foreign investor can own up to 80% of the JV company, but most important, by highlighting these industries in their restricted industry list and making the rules of engagement more transparent, the Myanmar government is encouraging investment in this industry. We've come to the end of part 1 video. Please proceed to the next video entitled Myanmar Company Incorporation, What You Should Know. My last slide. I would like to let you know that Consult Myanmar Company Limited is a 100% foreign-owned company that is incorporated in Myanmar. We are a member of the Union of Myanmar Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry. If you have any question about the market opportunities that I have just covered in my presentation, please do send me an email or you can visit our website. Before we part, I would like to wish you a fruitful and profitable investment experience in Myanmar. Bye bye and see you in the next video.